Hi there, I'm Mr. Mark. Today we're going to be showing you, this is a spring spinner, and at the end of the time I'll show you how this actually works, and we talk a little bit about how you put that together. And it's something that there's different ways to put it together, so let me talk about that. I'm going to show you what we need, have a lot of different stuff here, and like I said, because there's different ways to do it, it depends on you how you want to do it. So we got some construction paper, we're going to be cutting that into strips here in a minute, so we need our scissors, gotta have those. You will need some type of dowel rod. You can see I have a skewer, I have some different widths of dowel rods, different lengths. It depends on what you want to use. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. You likely need a ruler at some point, and a pencil, and a glue stick for a little bit. Now I use the stapler. It's up to you if you want to use the glue stick or the stapler. There's benefits to different ones, and I'll tell you. And you will need a hot glue gun just for one thing at the end. And that's the main things we need for everything. So let me talk about what I did here. So I was looking at directions. I found this online, and it's a spinner. And so it said to use strips of paper. They said to use 11 inches, but if you get a standard piece of construction paper, I think it's in between 11 and 12. So if you just use this, you don't have to measure the length. Now, I did my strips. I have some extra ones here. You can cut them, I would say do it between ½ an inch and about an inch. It's up to you how you want it to look, and you can fool around with it and see, but I would say at least ½ an inch up to about an inch will look good. And I did 6 of them on the spinner that I made. It's up to you how many you want to do. So the more you do, it looks kind of cool, but you want to leave a space between them when you glue them on there as well, because I'll show you at the end how the effects look. You want a space between them because when they spin, you'll see how it looks. So I would do about 6 to 8 strips, about 11 to 12 inches long, and you can use the ruler or whatever, try to make them fairly straight, but it's going to be spinning, so it doesn't have to be perfect at all. So you cut your 6 to 8 strips, and then, like I said, any color you want to use. I'm trying to use spring colors. If you want to use rainbow colors, if you're a big Orioles fan, you want to use orange and black, that's fine, whatever you want to use. And then you're going to need 2 circles, and you'll see here on the end of my spinner, there's one on there, and one on there. So they're going to be the 2 ends. And I just kind of freeform drew them. I want to make them a little bit bigger than like a quarter, I would say. And then just for looks, and they also hold things in place a little bit. So do 2 of those. I did 2 different colors. Okay? And then you're ready to bring in your glue stick, and I'll show you about how I did it and made this. So I had 6 strips of paper, and I take one of my circles, whatever one you want on one side, and you're going to be doing a lot of gluing. So you're going to be gluing strips onto your circle. So I would say the easiest way I found was put the glue onto the circle first. And because I'm just doing one, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. And you're going to put an end on here. And you want it to kind of go towards about the middle, close to halfway, because you want it to stay on there pretty good. And then you do the same thing for all the other strips. The thing is, you're going to make them, like if you're doing 6, you can go 2 this way, and then 2 over here, and 2 that way. And if you're 8, you can do 2 across, you can make it a cross, and you're going to get doing diagonal. You want to cross from each other that way. And you just want to glue them on, make sure they're on getting tight, and I would let it dry a little bit. And then the harder part is when you got to glue the other end, okay? So then you're going to have this thing that looks kind of like an octopus, and you're going to pull them around. And then what I did, I put a staple in here, but that's up to you. I stapled it, and then I attached it to my other circle, and it's going to look like this paper cage, okay? Now comes the hard part. We have to put the skewer or the dowel rod into it. Now, I was looking at some instructions, and it said I was supposed to use a skewer around this size, and I found this was a little bit small. It poked in pretty well. I used a tack to poke one hole, and it poked in there, but I thought it was a little bit small because I'll show you here in a minute, you have to get your hands on it. So I thought this was a little bit short, so I used this other dowel rod right here, and this one is about the same length as the one I have in on my spinner, about like this size. So when you make your paper cage, you want a couple inches down below here, and you'll see when I demonstrate why you want it. You want to be able to get your whole hand on here for when you spin it. So you want your rod here to be at least 2 inches longer than your paper cage here, okay? So then I used the tack, I punched a hole, I put the rod through here, and then I punched another hole up here. I put the rod all the way through my circle, and this is where I use the hot glue gun. I just put some hot glue attached to here, okay? So you want a hot glue here, but you don't want a hot glue here. I'll show you why. You want this nice and loose, because you'll see that when I spin it. And then I'll let it set for a little while to let that hot glue dry. So I put my cap on here. So then I let it sit, it's all like this, and so then you want to try it out. So you can put your hands like this, and I kind of tuck my thumbs down so you don't hit your thumbs. And it goes like that way, so you see it spinning. That's why you want to attach the top, but you don't want the bottom to attach. So it moves like that. You can also do it with one hand, not as fast, but you can do it that way. And you can get it real fast, you can get it really going and spinning around on itself. Like I said, I use construction paper. I've seen some that use tissue paper, be a little lighter, might move a little bit more. I don't know if it would tear or not, but you can always try that one and see how it does. Like I said, you can put more strips if you want, whatever color you want. You can try it out, and that is a spring spinner. So go ahead and make one and try it out, and hopefully you enjoy it. And thank you so much for watching me today.